Good morning, friends. Welcome to Story Time with Whitingfield MWR Library. I'm Miss Kelly, and I'm excited to read with you. Today, we are going to read about crayons. Our first book is Gerpel and Preen. The author who wrote the words is Linda Sue Park. Gerpel and Preen. Gerpel's eyes opened one by one by one. Her head swiveled as she clanked to her feet. Preen, Preen, where are you? The spilled cargo began to shimmy. Then a bunch of crayons shot into the air. Zap my apps! Gerpel yelled, ducking. Preen launched herself out from under the pile. The pods, the pods! Gerpel waved her arms in a panic. We're doomed without them. Preen beeped. She pointed toward a corner of the pile. Oh, there they are, Gerpel said with a whistle of relief. But look at the rest of this mess. How are we ever going to repair the ship? It's impossible. We need solar-powered batteries, fusion plasma engines, magnetic force fields. Gerpel picked up a blue crayon and broke it. Bits and bytes. A tablecloth? What are we supposed to do with that? We need stuff we can use. Gerpel broke a brown crayon. A flock of quails fluttered out and began running around her feet. Shoo! Shoo! Can't you see I'm busy? Gerpel shouted. Preen rounded up the quails, bird by bird by bird. Meanwhile, Gerpel was still breaking crayons. A skateboard? No time. Strings of lights? No clue. A hockey stick? No games. Puzzle pieces? No. Boo. A lampshade? A lampshade? We're never going to be able to rebuild with nothing but junk, Gerpel wailed. Gerpel kept fuming. Preen kept working, putting things together bit by bit by bit. Gerpel broke a white crayon. Itchy glitches, she yelled in frustration. Robots don't go to the bathroom. Gerpel hurried over to check on the pods. The countdown has started. We'll have to open the pods soon. And nothing's ready. In desperation, she broke another crayon. A panda jumped out and landed on her head. No, stop. Quit fooling around. Preen beeped. Gerpel looked up in surprise. Wow, Gerpel said. I can't believe it. Lights on the pods began blinking. It's time, Gerpel said. Preen beeped again. They slid the pods out of the box. Nodes and codes, Gerpel said. Please let this work. Gerpel saluted. Commander. The commander nodded. At ease, Gerpel. Have we arrived at our destination? We had to make an emergency landing. The ship was damaged, but everything has been repaired. Good work, the commander said. How did you do it? Well, it wasn't easy, but... Gerpel stopped. Her processor whirred and her sensors flashed. Preen did most of it. Bip, said Preen. Bip, bop, bip, bip, boop. She says they did it the way you do anything hard, Gerpel translated. Step by step by step. Preen beeped. The quails peeped. The panda leaped. Everyone laughed. Even Gerpel. Where to next? Gerpel asked. The commander tapped on her computer. Everywhere, she said. The whole galaxy, star by star by star. The end. Our next book is Pete the Cat, Crayons Rock. The authors who wrote the words are Kimberly and James Dean. Pete the Cat, Crayons Rock. Pete loves his big box of groovy crayons. He loves to draw things like cars, trucks, flowers, and trees, and most of all, the big blue sea. From rockin' red to cool cat blue, with a box of crayons, there's nothing Pete can't do. One day, Pete decided to draw something new. His friends. Using lots of colors is so much fun. Pete wanted to use every one. He scribbled and drew a great big smile. His drawings were groovy and rockin' with style. Crayons rock. Pete was proud of the pictures he drew. He hoped his friends would dig them too. Pete showed Grumpy Toad first. Grumpy Toad said, "This doesn't look right. Those colors are way too bright." Pete thought, "Hey, no sweat. That's all right. The next one will be dynamite." For Gus, from Pete. Pete showed Gus his picture too. Gus asked, "Who is this supposed to be? It doesn't really look like me." Pete thought, "Hey, no sweat. That's all right. The next one will be just right." For Callie, from Pete. Pete finally showed Callie her picture. Callie said, "This one is fine, but it feels like something's missing from mine." Pete said, "What a mess." "Bummer. I guess my drawings aren't the best." Pete started to frown. He put his crayons down. In art class, the teacher asked, "Pete, what are you going to make?" "I don't know. I'm afraid of making a mistake." Pete looked around. Gus drew the coolest superheroes. Callie's flowers were awesome, out of sight. Grumpy's motorcycle was just right. Pete's heart sank. His paper was blank. The gang looked at Pete and said, "No sweat, it's all right. It doesn't have to be just right. Your art is cool because it's you. Your art is so unique. Grab your groovy box of crayons. Show us your technique." The teacher agreed. Art should be fun. Art is for everyone. From rockin' red to cool cat blue, with a box of crayons, there's nothing you can't do. Pete smiled. There are no rules. It's no big deal. Art is about how it makes you feel. Pete loved his cool art. That's the one thing Pete knew. Suddenly, Pete knew exactly what to do. He tried again. Instead of drawing them one by one, Pete drew the whole gang, just having fun. "Wow, way to go, Pete. That's a rockin' masterpiece." Grumpy Toad, Gus, and Callie agreed. Pete's picture was off the charts. See, that's the groovy thing about art. The best art comes from the heart. Crayons rock. The end. I hope you enjoyed reading with me about crayons. Thank you so much for joining me and have a wonderful day. Bye.